Black women's bodies are the only bodies that have historically been used for both labor and reproduction. But my freedom starts with me. And in this form, at some point, this vessel that carries my whole spirit and soul is all I have. Freedom starts with this body, then. At the very least, if this body is my own, then that gives me a starting point through which to even create anything else, to contribute anything else. At the very least, this body has to be mine. At which point, Black girls and women decide, no, this body is not just for labor, not just for someone else's pleasure, not just for reproduction, not for the world to glean and benefit from in ways that Black women don't get to benefit in our bodies. That is the beginning of powerful revolution. That's ebonyjanice. All the Black girls are activists, a fourth wave womanist pursuit of dreams as radical resistance.
Right. Hey, y'all. We are back with episode 3. We took a little brief break because why?
My daughter got dance.
Exactly. Yep. Schedule last week was just too busy to get it done, but it's okay. We're back. And we're back this week with something we previewed. We talked about, we were going to talk about Black women's reproductive health. We are both Black women who are also mothers, connected to a lot of mothers. And we're really, I guess, moved to action after the recent death of Black midwife, Dr. Janell Smith. And we decided that a conversation was necessary around Black women's reproductive health. We touched on it a little bit, I think, in the motherhood episode when me, you, and Rabia talked about our own stories in these emergency C-sections that we had back in the 2012s that seemed to be like the thing. But today we're going to just talk about where this all started with Black women's reproductive health in this country, but also like taking it back to where we used to be. Because I know Black midwives delivered multiple babies for Black and white people. My great-grandmother was a Black midwife who delivered hundreds of babies, and it's just wild to know that Black women are more at risk to die in childbirth. And call me a conspiracy theorist, but I totally believe that it is the interference of modern medicine that has caused some of this. I mean, there's research out there. The Ina May Gaskin's book was very insightful for me in thinking about how to like take back my body, because it was born, like it's designed to do this without interference and disruption. And I know that some of what led to my own emergency C-section had to do with intervention, medical intervention.
Because when you think about your first labor and delivery, your first birth in comparison to your second two, when you were at the hands of a Black woman, with autonomy over your own body, able to do it a little bit differently, you had a much different experience.
Much different experience, like would have continued to have babies if, the finances was financing and, because the world needs more of my babies, but, yeah. So I definitely want to go ahead and provide like a trigger warning to my mommy listeners who've had difficult experiences, but also know that we're going to definitely talk about things that are in a sensitive way, but an informative way, and in a way that provides care for you. But I definitely want to let you know at the top of the episode, it could be kind of triggering. So, but we'll get you through it. So before we do that, we want to talk about our lip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is one of my faves. This is the lip bar, and it's around here somewhere. This is the Lip Bar, Black woman owned lipstick brand, which I love. This is like one of those lip stains. Let me see if I can grab it. It's like a lip stain situation. This one is called Rebel. Lasts all day, lasts all night. Kind of hard to get off. But it's one of my favorites. Like I love the dark, vampy. Can't tell if it's red, can't tell if it's brown, can't tell if it's black type lip. What you got?
I have, and look, I had to go look it up. It is Sephora, color 133, purple pop. It's a matte magenta purple.
No, it's kind of giving pink to me.
It is giving a pink, but I had to go to the color board to make sure, because it's not as purple as the purple, but it's purple pop matte magenta, but matte magenta. But I like it because it does give pink. Like it's not so deep. I like the Sephora lip stains because it's a cream lip stain, and it's over the Trader Joe's cinnamon roll lip mask. I put that underneath so it wouldn't be so hard to remove.
Trader Joe's has the nice little skincare and
Mhm.
things they do. I like the rosewater spray.
Okay, haven't tried
Okay.
that one.
I use that as a toner. I like it. It's like $5.
Yeah, no. Shout out to Summer, who's an avid listener. She got me the lip mask and some day cream and night cream from the Trader Joe's with Manuka honey.
Mhm.
Definitely have been trying the body butters from Trader Joe's. TJ's got a lot of little
Yeah, no, they
sticks in
definitely do. And I've seen like some of the TikTok girlies like do the comparisons of
Mhm.
like the Trader Joe's to whatever the, more expensive thing is. Yeah.
I like the
They
lip
say they
mask.
measure up.
I put it on at night, for sure, but I put it on today just to make this lip a easy removal. And then our libation.
It's an espresso martini, which I didn't, well, mine's kind of dull.
Because it's delicious. That's how delicious it is.
It is. And I didn't know I liked espresso martinis. I feel like I've tried them in restaurants before. And it was like, ew, I love coffee. I love espresso. I drink a coffee black. But something about the espresso and the vodka wasn't giving. And then I tried the other day an espresso martini with tequila. And I said, oh, wow, this is something like totally different. But I'm not really a tequila drinker, as we know. It's the gin. So we have an espresso martini with the Empress Indigo gin. It's got Kahlua. It has a South African cream liqueur and a pecan. You say, what did you say?
Pecan.
Pecan. Um, a pecan liqueur that I got in New Orleans. And espresso. And it's decadent and delicious, and silky and smooth, and I quite enjoy it.
What are we naming it? What are we gonna name this?
I don't know. It's
So it's Stephanie's espresso martini for now. That's
for
what we're
now.
gonna,
For now, that's what it is.
because it's got a twist. It's got a little twist. So for the liberation today, y'all, like I said, we hope to be able to work towards some strategies for us to reclaim and liberate our own bodies and make choices about our own bodies with knowledge and information, but like literally making your own choices. Like they talk about my body, my choice all the time, but historically, none of that had anything to do with Black women.
Yeah.
It was really about the needs or whatever of white women. We've never had autonomy over our bodies, dating back to the earliest days here in the country. I know we're going to cover like a lot of ground and a lot of folks. I do want to just say my great grandmother's name, pay homage to my great grandmother who worked as a midwife in our small community, Midway, Mississippi. Penny Kirkland Beeman Odom Johnson. She's a mother of 9 children. And she started having children very early, though. Like that first marriage. I think she was either 14 or 15 when she first started having children. So definitely homage to her. I'm grateful for the work. She did live a long life um, into the 70s. I just happened to come along much later. But yeah,
Shout out to the mothers and the grandmothers and the great great grandmothers um, who carried the 9 and 10 and 15 and 20 children.
listen,
Um, yeah. And it just, just speaks to the power of the womb and creation and just the sustainability of a people, like you said, the world needs more of your babies. Yeah. Um, my great grandmother, Viola, Viola Watson, I believe she was one of like 19 or 20 or 21 children. Shout out to her mother.
yeah, lots of lots of children. And it's interesting. So I have a cousin who is, so like I said, my grandmother had started having kids early, but from that first group of kids, I have a cousin. I don't even know like the lineage or like first, second. I have no clue how far back, but she's an older cousin, and she always quoted like, "I'm gonna have 9 children," like Grandma Jenny did, and I think she got close, real close. She might have had 8, and it could possibly be 9. Like some of her kids were my classmates, and then she continued to have kids, I think, as long as she could. Because her youngest, maybe 20 something. Yeah. So shout out to people truly taking autonomy over their bodies and birthing. I mean, my sister, shout out to her. 5 boys.
Yeah, and then it's like when you think about the against all odds element of it, um, that Black women um are able to continue to reproduce, continue to um just extend their lineage and their legacy through childbirth in the midst of like what's that book? Medical is it like medical apartheid or something? It's a
Sounds
red book with
familiar.
like black writing on it.
That's why we got Google. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up.
Or is it black? A black book with white writing. Trying to picture it. But anyway, yeah, like just in when we think about women like Fannie Lou Hamer,
The medical
yeah,
apartheid.
medical apartheid, but
It
women
is
like
black.
Fannie Lou Hamer and the forced hysterectomy, like she went in for one thing and they took it upon themselves to take her whole birthing system, take her uterus, steal her uterus from her. Um and then in her like anthropological research, like all the women that she was finding out about who the same thing had happened to, um, when we still birthing the babies.
Yeah, no, I mean, and speaking of Fannie Lou Hamer, Mississippi, like where all the madness goes down, stumbled upon this post on Facebook about Mary, which Mary was like a common slave name. I had like this boyfriend I dated when I was 19. His mother, he was from New Orleans. His mother would call me Mary. And I actually didn't like it because I feel like Mary was kind of like a derogatory name for Black women. Like they just call people Mary. But anyway, it says in the summer of 1855, a plantation ledger in rural Mississippi recorded a line that reads in part, Mary, prime field hand, age 36, mother of 22. 22 children at 36 is madness already. But it goes on to talk about the economy centered around this Black woman's uterus. There are no exclamation marks in the book, no emotion, just numbers. A human being, Mary, known only by a first name assigned to her, had borne 22 children while enslaved. In the same ledger, beside her name, the owner listed monetary values attached to each of her children, property entries assigned to human lives. The language used in surrounding correspondence is even more chilling. Mary is repeatedly described with a single word, breeder, a term that erased her personhood, reduced motherhood to production, and turned the horror of reproductive coercion into a cold-blooded financial strategy. Our investigation follows Mary's story as far as records allow and places it within an economic system that incentivized forced childbearing to expand slaveholders' wealth. Wild. But then, like, thinking about how she and her lineage benefited nothing from that.
Right.
Like 22 people who are dispersed and probably likely have no idea that they're connected, have no way of even finding out if they're connected. And somebody's children are right now benefiting from this trust fund in college somewhere. And like when I was reading James, and when I got to the end and like his daughter and wife were like displaced or whatever, they were saying they were sending her to this place where they breed, essentially. And that part was like, man, that's so wild. And then because y'all got me reading and all these books are going together, like I was reading another book that had something similar just happening. So like the use of Black women to like make profit for all these people, like maybe it's why I feel so angry all the time, like about my reproductive health. Like I want to be in charge. I don't know. Like it's something, I think it's that book, Grandmother's Hands. It talks about like the genetic trauma.
It is that book. I was looking at that book.
Yeah. I got you that book.
You did?
I think so. And we haven't, because I got 2 copies. I know I gifted it to somebody.
Yeah, I was looking at that this morning. Yeah, and that then goes back to the Audre Lorde poem, Litany for Survival, and that we inherited and learned fear and trauma and anger, like with our mother's milk. That this oppression and exploitation of the Black woman's body has just been passed down through generations. And like we have to be super intentional about reclaiming and owning and holding tight to our own bodies. Um, I think I know as a teenager, I started to for sure like leave my body um, and not be in complete control and buying into like narratives that somebody else could use my body to for their own pleasure, for their own benefit, without regard to my desires, my needs, what was good for me. So yeah, like in my big girl age, in my now time, just being super intentional about.
Yeah. I'm just sitting home.
Have you done that before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have, but not him solo.
That seems like a big
All right, my bad, y'all. Parker is now squared away. We're gonna get back to our conversation. At the top of the episode, I mentioned Dr. Janell Greensmith, and just want to highlight her story a little bit more. She passed away tragically on January 1st. After complications from childbirth, she had participated in more than 300 births as a certified nurse midwife and doctor of nursing practice in South Carolina, with a particular focus on helping Black women give birth safely. She was looking forward to welcoming a child of her own with her husband, Daquan Smith, whom she had married in 2024. Her due date was February 25th. She had just had a baby shower, but on Christmas Eve, she was admitted to the hospital after developing severe preeclampsia and pregnancy-related blood disorder can be fatal for mother and baby. 2 days later, baby Eden was born early but safe. But then there were further complications requiring an emergency surgery. In less than a week after her baby's birth, she passed away. And at the time of the article that I'm reading, um, there was no confirmed exact cause of death. But we all know Black mothers are far more likely to die from complications of childbirth than other races. Um, may she rest. May baby Eden be well loved and cared for by her community. Um, Prayers to her family, her husband, who will need it for years. Um, so we've known this. This has been the conversation. I believe when this second cycle of election, like there was a large push from Kamala around Black maternal health. My own primary care provider and OB is a midwife. She's a certified midwife as well, and studied under midwives, which is what one drew me to her as my practitioner. But then when I was pregnant with Trey, I also found out that her family is from Forest, my hometown. So that also was like, oh, this is the one. But we've like developed such a great relationship. And I do believe that one of the main things, most important things, like whether your doctor is Black or not, like you need to have a really good relationship with your doctor. I believe we've kind of grown up that it's a transaction, but the familialness of my relationship with Dr. Matt um, is what made me more comfortable. Like she was open to helping me develop my birth plan with Trey. She knew about the emergency C-section and she could find no reason to not try a vaginal birth after a C-section because it was an emergency C-section with no documentation of why.
Yeah.
So she was definitely adamant that, VBAC was the way to go. And if we were successful, like she wasn't concerned about rupture or anything like that. And she really was patient with me and all my 50-11 questions. And all of my telling her, hey, I think it's this, I think it's that. Like, okay, man,
It definitely makes all the difference. It definitely makes all the difference to have somebody that you're in relationship with and that um is going to take the time with you for real. Um a lot of times like it's like the business of it and like they're manufacturing babies for real, like they're trying to get you in and out and um try to see as many patients in a day as possible, and the whole like machine grind element of the birthing experience isn't natural, like so somebody who's actually going to take the time. And so huge respect to Dr. Janell Greensmith, um, all of the Black midwives for generations who are taking the time. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that journey with Dr. Mapp actually had me wanting to go back. Like, my background is biology, pre-med. Thought I was gonna go to dental school, but we all know. But it really had me thinking, man, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in Black women. And I actually do love like little babies.
Yeah.
Little babies for clarity. 0 to 12 months. Those are my favorite. These toddlers, something else. But yeah, no, I definitely thought about it as my second journey, like as my next journey, because we need people who are actually gonna take the time and teach people what your body can do. You gave me that book, the Ina May Gaskins book, and it really changed everything for me because I was terrified to give birth. But reading that book calmed me
Mm-hmm.
a lot to where when Afeni was born, I knew what was coming. I knew exactly what was happening. I done dropped Parker off at baseball practice and was in the streets ripping and running like I know what time it is. And it was so easy. It was so easy.
That happened so quick. I was like, dang, you already had the baby? Like,
Yeah. And went
I'm
home.
on call, like I'm ready, I'm waiting for the call or whatever, and
Nah, it was home. Went
home with the
home.
baby already. It was very quick.
And it was
And
because it was not like with the admission to the hospital. And then you got all the rules of the hospital and the release, and you got to do this and you got to do that. So Dr. Mapp like has a partnership with the pediatrician. So I took Afeni back, to get those first day tests.
mm-hmm.
And like we were home, comfortable. And yeah, it was great. Shout out to my ancestors too, because I know couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. And so when we think about like healing justice, and that's really what um I wanted to read this other part from Healing Justice Lineages, Dreaming at the Crossroads of Liberation, Collective Care, and Safety, like this idea of healing justice, um, which is like just reclaiming like our ancestral practices,
Mm-hmm.
reclaiming community, reclaiming responsibility for one another and just like being each other's keeper. Um, because like we can't heal our bodies, we can't just do this in isolation and on our own. So like these principles of healing justice, it says number one, collective trauma is transformed collectively. Number two, there's no single model of care. And number three, healing strategies are rooted in place and ancestral technologies. Parker made it home.
Mm-hmm. He's home.
Um, yeah, just creating communities and collectives of care. I think when we talked last week about, or 2 weeks ago, or whenever in the last episode about connection, that's really at the root of um, us saving our own lives and taking care of each other in a sustainable way. Um, I think about like, I don't know if we're gonna get into the other episode and the other conversation, but just sisterhood um and learning from each other, different ways to take care of ourselves and take care of each other.
Yeah. And you know what I also wonder just about Black maternal health and like how many women like shared stories
Mm-hmm.
before now, like before it was a conversation. Because when I think back to my mom and her sister, like there's a 12-year age gap. And I don't know how much information was passed down about like how I'd experienced my health.
Mm-hmm.
I think Black people don't start talking about health until they're sick.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't do preventative conversations. We don't do preventative doctor visits
Mhm.
even, like to go to a healthcare provider once a year. And a lot of it, I wonder how much of it has to do with like access to insurance. Cause like I think about growing up, like I don't really remember my mom going to the gynecologist often or the doctor, like, or that being a conversation, like until I was of age to start seeing a gynecologist. And my gynecologist was whoever was working at the health department
Mhm.
that week or whatever, or at that time. Um, and I had a physical, but it wasn't until I became an adult working on my own with insurance that I actually had like a healthcare provider that I was starting to like build relationships with. Shout out to Dr. Carl Reddick's family friend. That was my first chosen OBGYN back in Mississippi. Um, But yeah, I don't recall like having those conversations. I feel like some of that had to do with me being in Mississippi with like limited access to healthcare and hospitals and doctors. Like in my hometown, there's like a couple of family practice doctors. Um, and my mama wildly was still going to Dr. Lewis, he's definitely 80 something. Because if my mama's 73, he's 80 something. And like, go home, Dr. Lewis. Like, why are you? And even my uncle, before, like when they retired to Mississippi, he started going back to see his old family doctor. My uncle's 80. Sir, why are you going to see this man?
Yeah.
Like, and my cousin had to come down and like have conversations with these doctors. But like now that he's in Seattle with my cousin, like I'm sure he's getting way better healthcare. But like we're creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like to, and I feel like Black women carry so much that impacts our hearts. It impacts because if it ain't childbirth, it's a heart attack,
Right.
and heart disease or
Yeah.
stroke.
Yep.
Because we're carrying all this stuff and we're not having conversations with each other
Mhm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that part on connection and community, like we have to be intentional about those conversations. But I'll think about my dad, on the other hand, who had 4 sisters. Like those sisters talked. One of them is a doctor, and they talked about health.
And that's we have to be intentional about sending those messages to one another and making those phone calls to each other. Like, hey, did you have your mammogram? Have you had your pap smear? What's your numbers? Like, are you getting enough protein? Like, which I'm just finding out is like super important.
Who knew?
Who knew how much protein like you needed to eat? All the different things. Like, we have to be connected to each other in order to like really carry those stories back and forth, have those conversations.
We're gonna get you lifting eventually. And some strength training because it's
No, I
good for
did
your
add
heart.
it. No, I did add it on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What's the weight?
That's it's not always it's not always about the number in terms of the weight. Like, because there's also, like the resistance element, body weight.
Body weight workouts are intense,
For real.
though.
No, for sure.
And they definitely get you going.
And I'm in full transparency though. Like I am off my game a little bit this week, but I am allowing myself rest because that's a part of it too.
What is today? Today's
Saturday.
January 24th. I have been off my game for about 30 days.
Because what was the number that you were supposed to have or was that in December?
No, that was in December. I was trying to hit 20. I might have
Was it
5.
20 days? 20 days?
It was enough time.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to get 20 workouts. I was trying to get 20 workouts or 20 days of workouts, like, because I wanted to dedicate a full, like, 45 minutes or more, like, to working out. Like, I wanted 20 of those. But I've given myself to your new year, like, to start, because, the Chinese New Year doesn't start until February something. So I'm giving myself time.
Doesn't start until February 13th. So
yeah, I got a little time. I'm trying to set myself some goals to after the party and, but I got to get back. But the outside piece is the most healing for me though. Like when working out, like I can get the workout done, but it feels like a workout. I can go to the gym. I really like to be outside walking. I really do.
Yeah, me too. But it was in the teens today.
Yeah. And I saw people running. Like, I was like, y'all could probably run faster because of how cold it is.
To put my salt out there, like my hands, I had to come back in and put another set of gloves on. Like it was super, super cold.
Yeah.
The walking pad that does come in handy. I haven't been on that either though. I haven't been walking. The walking it is tea.
No, it is. And shout out to Girl Trek for like putting us all the women, the million women walking with Girl Trek. definitely lowering their numbers, increasing their lifespan by being intentional in dedicating that 30 minutes a day to walking. It changes a lot. Like it resets your mood. Um, you feel better. You feel accomplished.
Yeah, because it kind of feels like especially, just the quick 30 minutes, or even sometimes like if it's just getting outside for 10 minutes real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like you breathe different after a walk.
Yeah.
It's a little lighter. Um, what else? Oh, let me go to my notes. What else did we get to? Okay, so I think I had reflection questions also coming from the healing justice lineage. Oh, just in terms of like how are we embodying these three in our lives and reclaiming ancestral traditions, transforming our trauma collectively. There's no single model of care and healing strategies rooted in place and ancestral technologies. Um, I was thinking about just being open to the different ways of healing, that there's not one straight pathway, that there's not um one healing technology that's like privileged over any of the others.
You trying to say you
Um,
ain't got to live?
no, I'm not saying that I don't have to lift. I'm saying I'm saying I'm open to um different ways, and I try to encourage my sisters to be open to different ways too.
Yeah. Archie keeps trying to get me to go to Zumba, and one day I'm going to make
She
it.
told, okay, so she did say there's a virtual class, like because of the snow, that they were going to do it virtually. That kind of,
This Monday?
maybe so.
Okay.
Does
So
she go to Zumba on
I
Mondays?
think it's Mondays and Wednesdays or something like that.
Well, then there's the step class too, which I don't think that I can do the step class. I feel like I'm a little too uncoordinated for that.
Nah, because she showed me some steps from the step class.
Nah, I can't do it, or
Nah,
you
I
can't do it.
definitely can't do it.
Well, you at the hand dance class was, hey, it was enjoyable.
I did my best.
You did.
I did my best.
You did do your best. My father did his best.
But that was also like, that was fun.
It
Like
was
doing the hand dance, like
Yeah.
that was
No, that
fun
was
and a
fun
good
for
way to
sure.
get moving.
You know what I want to
together.
do? I want to roller skate.
I wish I knew how. Can you roller skate?
I can roller skate. I feel like I used to do roller skate for sure. And I had rollerblades when we still lived in Akron. Um, I used to get around on those for sure.
And so being from Mississippi, no roller rink for me to go to because I didn't live in town. Like I didn't live in Jackson. And ironically, Forest is so interesting because it's a lot of Black people there. But after 1971, when they forced integration, they covered everything up that was like community and had to be integrated. Like they got rid of the pools, they got rid of the community center, like all of that
So
stuff.
y'all can't have none of this shit if we got to bring it
No,
together.
no, they literally, if it got to come together, nobody
We
can
tearing
have
the
it.
whole thing down. Can't none of y'all have it.
So like, and I lived like out in the country, so there was nowhere to like roller skate. I would have had to like had done it on the carport. And yeah, so I never owned a pair of roller skates. I had been like roller skating before with the church or something like that. We did a trip, but I never could roller skate.
That's a sister, like a little sister's date, a little girl's outing to go roller skating. That's cute. We should do that.
And I should do it before I get too old and be breaking hips and
Yeah,
wrists.
because when you fall, like you definitely
Yeah.
might be bruised up and sore the next day.
Yeah. It's not too late. I also was thinking I want to learn how to swim at this big age.
Yeah,
The way I'm not afraid of the water but can't swim is crazy.
yeah. You should learn how to swim. I should probably learn how to swim better. I feel like I can swim.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like to swim, and I don't want to swim though.
Yeah, something I always wanted to learn how to do. But woo, no pools
Yeah.
for 50 miles.
You also, so if I got to lift, like you got to meditate.
So what happens when I meditate, my mind doesn't really calm.
Yeah.
It
It's a
starts
practice.
racing on all the things that I have to do, and then I'm looking to the timer. And then if it does rest, I fall asleep.
Sitting up.
I end up like, all right, I'm gonna go lay down. Like if I get to, I gotta go lay down. And honestly, my meditation position for me is not sitting up. I'm usually like,
Because you want to
I'm
lay
up
down.
laying.
You want to go to
What is
sleep.
it? Is it Shavasana? Is that
Yeah.
the pose? Yeah, that's my meditation pose.
Well, there is like, what is it? Yoga Nidra, which is in like a Shavasana position.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, but like the practice is staying awake though.
Yeah. Aaron told me that I needed to meditate too.
Yeah, you should. If I got a lift, then you should meditate.
I want to work on my prayer life first.
They're connected.
They are.
They're connected. Like stillness and quiet and being okay with being alone with your thoughts and finding your way to your thoughts not controlling you.
Yeah, that sounds like I need a wellness retreat to
Yeah.
Sedona.
Yeah, me too. Where did me and Mace go this summer? Was it Sedona?
Or was it Scottsdale?
It was Scottsdale. It was Scottsdale.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was very nice. It was super hot.
But you know, Sedona has those wellness, like the Native American spiritual retreats.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So we take back and liberate our bodies and heal our lineages through intentional, healthy practices,
In community.
community, and connecting to our sisters in conversation about our health.
Yeah.
Because I do find a lot of folks in our age group, they're starting to have the conversations because we are aging, and it's like, oh, we need to have the conversations. But I really want to develop that as a habit with my daughter.
Yeah.
Like I want to have those conversations with my daughter early because I feel like we didn't have those conversations
We
growing
definitely didn't have those conversations.
up.
No. No, we definitely didn't have conversations about our bodies.
I mean, you have the one conversation around how to like take care of yourself during your cycle, but it's not even really a conversation. It's more like, here's this,
Yeah.
here's that, this is what you need. Like, and
Yeah,
that
you
was
got it. Yeah. Yeah. I read books.
girl, I had health
I read
class.
books.
I didn't
I
read
had
books.
health class, but I definitely wasn't having like real conversations. I didn't feel comfortable asking any kinds of questions or anything. If I had questions about my body, questions about sex, questions about my period, I was gonna try to read something and figure it out on my own.
And you know, it's interesting because we had the Cosby Show, and Bill Cosby
Yeah.
was a whole OB.
Yeah.
And I feel like Rudy had some
There
conversations
was a
around
Women's Day
breast.
episode.
And yeah, but there was no, that even didn't lead folks in our homes to like have a conversation. Like,
there definitely wasn't a after we turn the remote off or go turn it off on the knob on the TV. Like there wasn't a okay, so
yeah,
this is what we just saw. Let's talk about it.
which is real different from me and Parker and watching Blackish, because I think they did the same thing on Blackish. And, you know, I had to have conversations with Parker because the internet.
Yeah.
What you find on the internet when you curious, you type in one thing and you down a whole rabbit hole of Pornhub.
No, we
So we
definitely
gotta
like
take it back.
pausing the shows. Like, wait, so you see what they just said right there?
Yeah.
Like, have you heard? And yeah, we got to chit chat about this.
Yeah, no, because I feel like it was a lot of ignoring. Like, oh, because even the episode with Theo in the joint, we ain't talking about,
I don't remember Theo in the joint.
you don't remember that somebody from school left the joint in Theo's textbook and he got in trouble
The joint,
and they didn't even believe that it wasn't his. And then the kid came on, like the kid ended up like owning up to it being his because Theo was like, you got to go tell my parents.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I kind of remember it.
It was an early episode though. Like I probably
I
saw it
kinda
as a
remember
rerun.
that, but I definitely remember Vanessa and the Wretched in Baltimore.
Yeah, we never gonna forget that one. Yeah.
Is that the same as her? Like she came home drunk from the Wretched, or is it a different?
No, they got
episode where she
arrested.
drank?
Or they got the car got towed and they went on to the concert. No, she didn't come home drunk. That
So
was
there was
different one.
another one.
It was
when
a
she
house party.
Yeah,
And
okay.
remember the house caught on fire and they thought that Vanessa was at somebody else's house, but then they ended up at a different house. The house that she was supposed to get was on fire and they couldn't find her. And they had been at a drinking game.
I remember the drinking game, and I
Yeah.
remember them like making her play the drinking game at the end.
Yep.
And Rudy was playing, and she
Mhm. Uh-huh.
yeah.
No conversation about that either.
No. Nah, no conversation about that either, but I'm glad to like, try to do it a little bit different.
Yes, for sure.
Millennial parents, are different. Elder millennials. Are we elder millennials? I think we are.
I think so. Because, in my mind, I'm Gen Z or whatever is before millennial. I think that's Gen Z. And I believe that I'm Gen Z, but I'm not.
Not by the numbers.
Nah. My siblings are, but I'm not.
Mhm.
All right, sis, close us out of this episode. What words you got for us to close out? To keep the people healing.
I don't know. I don't think we had decided on what the closeout was. Is it this?
Is it the litany?
Oh well, that is on my computer. I gotta like pull that up.
Yeah.
Audre Lorde's A Litany for Survival. You want the whole thing, or you want just that?
Read until it feels right.
Okay. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward at once, before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hope to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. I don't know. I feel like I got to read the rest. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard nor welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive.
Think that felt right.
Mhm.
All right. We'll see you guys here on the next episode where we explore the different ways in which we connect for liberation, primarily our sisterhood.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.